You're about to graduate high school and everyone keeps asking the exact same question. So what's next? Is it going to be college? Is it going to be trade school? Is it going to be the military? Jumping straight into work? And you know you need direction, but how are you supposed to choose something that could shape your entire life when you really haven't had the opportunity to explore it yet? And this is exactly why I recommend a strong interest inventory is a science-backed career assessment that truly helps students figure out what fits them before making these big decisions. And hey, I'm Bridget Batson. I do help students, I do help parents, I do help schools use the strong interest inventory to take the stress out of what comes next. And in this video, I'm actually going to show you what the strong is and what's inside the report and how it helps you or your student choose a path that makes sense, whether that's college, trade, or military service. And most high school students, they are confused strictly because they don't have the right information. Everyone's expected to choose a career before they've had a chance to really explore and find what interests them. And that's why so many college students change careers and professional trip between options. 50% of college students actually change careers, and 1/3 of professionals actually end up changing entire careers in their lifetime. And that's where the strong interest inventory comes in. It's going to take the guesswork out. It's going to give you data on what actually energizes you and where people with similar interests have built successful, satisfying careers. So let's look inside the report. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. When you take the assessment, you're going to answer questions about what you enjoy. Things like activities, subjects, types of environments that appeal to you. So first is going to be the general occupational themes, or GOTs. Think of these as your career families. There's actually 6. There's realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And if you look down here, you can give a little bit of a broad spectrum of each one. If you're in enterprising, a lot of your interests are going to be like business, politics, leadership, entrepreneurship. You're going to enjoy selling, persuading. Your potential skills are going to be a verbal ability to motivate, to direct, and you are a little bit of a risk taker. You like status, you like competition, and of course you like influence. The second one is conventional. People that score high on conventional, they like very much like data organization. They like management, things like accounting, investing, information systems, setting up procedures and systems, organizing and keeping records, developing computer applications. And your potential skills are going to be to work with numbers, doing data analysis, doing financials, and very, very attention to detail. And your values are going to be accuracy, stability, and efficiency. If you score high on social, that's telling the test that you're interested in people, in teamwork, in helping, in community service, and things like teaching, caring for people, counseling, and training employees. And your potential skills are going to be very people skills, your verbal abilities, your listening, your understanding, your comprehension, your empathy, and your values are going to be cooperation, generosity, and the service for others. Realistic people, their interests are going to be machines, computer networks, athletics, working outdoors. Their work activities, they like to operate equipment. They like to utilize tool, building and repairing. They like providing security. Their skills might be mechanical ingenuity, dexterity, physical coordination, and their values are going to be tradition, practicality, and common sense. People that score high on artistic, their values are going to be like self-expression, art expression, communication, and culture. They are going to like composing music, performing, writing, creating visual art, creativity, musical ability, artistic expression, and their values are going to be beauty, originality, independence, and imagination. Investigative, those types of people are very interested in science, medicine, mathematics, and research. Like performing lab work is going to be of interest to them, solving abstract problems, conducting research. They are going to be drawn to having their skills are going to be like mechanical ability, researching, writing, analysis, and their values are going to be independence, curiosity, and learning. So if you're, for example, an EGS, that'd be an enterprising, conventional, and social. Those are your 3 highest things. So that person likes a little bit of the business, the politics, the selling, the managing. They like helping people. They like value cooperation. Then, of course, what's the last one? Conventional. They do like organization, data management, setting up processes and procedures, and ability to work with numbers. So that's one thing about this. So you can kind of see the different themes that you align with here. If you scroll down here, the standard score and interest level, 50 is going to be your median. Anything above this is going to say that you're very high in that. Okay. So for example, enterprising, this applicant or this test taker, their enterprising was a 70. The highest of everything. Their second highest was 12 points below, and that was conventional. And then they had social running in at third at 53. This is going to be your standard score against everyone that took the assessment. This is on the right-hand side. And this is going to be your score against your gender. So next is going to go a little bit deeper. And this is actually going to be your basic interest scales. And these show which topics or subjects capture your curiosity. Maybe you're drawn to design or medicine or law or mechanics. This section is going to help you see patterns in what you naturally pay attention to. So if you scroll down here, their basic interest scales are going to be sales, management, finance and investing, human resources and training, as well as marketing and advertising. So looking at this, you can see the little these letters in parentheses next to them actually go back to the general occupational themes. And you can see if you scroll down here, here are some ideas and some interests that this person would be starting to look at. You can see is going to be very high with a 78, management with a 71, marketing and advertising with a 63. If you scroll down, they've got finance and investing at a 65, office management was at a 57, and human resources and training at a 63, social sciences at a 61. Anything with these lower scores or things you're like, this is probably not something that this person would stay out long term. Okay, now we're going to go down to where it gets interesting, and that's going to be your occupational scales. This is where it gets really personal. The strong compares your interest to people who love their jobs and have been successful in them. So if your profile looks like theirs, that career lands higher on your match list. So if you match with engineers, nurses, or business managers, that actually means that your interests overlap with people thriving in those careers. So to scroll down here, we can actually see some of these occupational skills that they could really start looking at in a more of a granular level. And that's going to be your life insurance agent, your restaurant manager, purchasing agent, buyer, florist, loan officer and counselor, community service dispatcher, and business and finance supervisor. So you can kind of see all of this in terms of the different careers they could take out to the next level here. Now, there's one thing I love about the Strong is that it doesn't just give you one grouping. You can see that these careers are actually across a broad spectrum of different things because we're taking in the science of this person's holistic self in terms of the things that they love and they're interested in. So it's putting together a good variety of things. Like I've taken it and it actually nailed me spot on what my career is now. It was really interesting, but it also gave some other things. If I would have taken a different path, if I wanted to become a chiropractor, I would have been very happy in that as well. So if I was, in high school or early college or even a career changer at this point in time, those are things I could definitely look at and kind of expand my scope a little bit. So now one thing about our career, it's not always just what we're doing. It's also how we're doing it. So, and I'm going to scroll back up here for these occupational skills so you can see them. I jumped ahead. I'm so sorry about that. So life insurance agent, you can kind of see these numbers over here. Okay. This is going to be against anything over 50 is going to be the median, right? So we're going to scroll down some here. And this one's really interesting. This person would not love being a biologist, a physicist, a veterinarian. They are actually in the negative on this. Those aren't the careers that they would interest them. Now, back to the personal style scales. The personal style scales are amazing as well because it's not always what we're doing, it's how we're doing it, how the work is going to align. Like, are we working with a team and we like being independent? Or how do we like learning? So one thing about this personal style skills, it just kind of goes over that. It gives like a work style. And these are questions you can answer throughout this strong interest inventory and it gives you this report. So this person actually enjoys working more with people. So they do score on the higher range of that, 68. In a learning environment, they prefer by learning in kind of on the job training. They love practical learning environments, learning by doing. The other option, if it was scored over here on this side, would be learning more in an academic environment. Their leadership style, they are very comfortable taking charge of others and motivating others. So you see they score pretty high on this side of the spectrum, but versus this way, the leadership style over here, if they scored the other way, it'd be like, not really my jam. I don't really love taking charge of people. Risk taking, it's going to give you a little thing on how much of a risk you like to take. This person scored slightly higher on the risk taking, just a little bit, and they scored a 53 over here. And so they slightly taking a little bit more of the risk, not completely, but they like dabbling in that a little bit. And of course, team orientation, prefers working on teams, enjoying collaboration, team goals, things like that. Again, score a little bit higher on that. So as you scroll down, now you're going to get this nice, beautiful profile summary. So let's say after you've done your session with your strong interest inventory administrator and interpreter, you're like, you know what, I don't want to keep going through all this. It gives you a nice page here, just kind of everything in a nutshell. It goes a little bit beyond high school, different things that you can do. It gives a little bit more information here about just a little bit more detail about things that you can look at. And, like, hey, this is a job that you might like doing that. Of course, your interpreter and administrator will be discussing that with you. I'll be able to help you out and say, hey, this is what's going on in the real world right now with those types of people. So you're going to be able to see how your results actually translate into career paths, job families, education options. It's not going to be just theory. It's actually going to be like practical direction. And like I said, this strong interest inventory has been around over 70 years. It's backed by psychological research. It's used by schools. It's used by universities. It's used by employers because it works. Myers-Briggs is one of the most prestigious companies out there for your assessments, whether or not be your strong interest inventory or your general personality assessments. It's not going to just tell you like, hey, what's trending now? It shows you what's authentic to you. And the goal isn't like to lock you into like one career, as you saw. It actually gives you a big variety of them so you can start looking at them. It's to give you kind of a clearer target so that you can start exploring with purpose and with confidence. And what you're going to get whenever you take that strong interest inventory, whether it be through me or someone else, you're going to get this detailed report. It's going to break down it all, your themes, your interests, your career matches. You're going to get that one-on-one private consultation for about 30 minutes to interpret your results and see if you have any questions and make sure that you understand how to utilize this tool in your choices moving forward. So if you're trying now to figure out like what is next after high school, and we've all been there, and you want to make a clear research-backed way to make that decision, I promise you the strong interest inventory is where to start. And you can schedule it with me if you'd like using the link in my description below. I am all about people spending their time at a job they are going to love. So if everyone's future truly deserves a strategy, it doesn't deserve guessing, and everyone truly deserves to be happy in their career. Thank you so much. I'm Bridget Batson.